Hello, and welcome to Virtual Flight Diaries. This is episode 3 of my adventure series. And we're back in Alaska with Everts Air Fuel, a division of Everts Air. And we're flying the DC-6 again. Registration November 444 Charlie Echo. And I believe this one is actually the one is still in service. So we are Everts 36 today, and we'll be using Beyond ATC for our air traffic control. And we're all pre-flighted and ready to go. So let's get started. So it's currently thunderstorm Fairbanks, according to Active Sky Next. Oh, wow. There we go. So, according to Active Sky Next, it's currently thunderstorming in Fairbanks. So, I dialed it back a couple hours. So, we just got some cloud cover. Because although it's really cool to try to fly in, extreme conditions like that, especially conditions that we wouldn't normally even take off in, it doesn't offer any kind of visual aspect. So, and I'm not sure this cloud cover is going to offer us too much either, because our filed flight plan is 12,000 feet. So I believe that's close to what the layer is. But we'll take what we can get. So we're all pre-flighted. We're ready to start. So let's get fired up. We'll start engine 3. Boost pumps on. Ignition to both. Start selector to 3.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Let's start on engine 3. You know what we did do, though? Now we got engine 3 warming up. Let's get our cargo on board. I didn't load it yet. So we got 9,000 pounds of fuel on board, and we are taking 21,000 pounds of fuel and cargo over to Ambler, Alaska, a small village that has a couple mining operations. They've acquired some fuel from us. That comes out to about 2,000 gallons of fuel oil. Get enough for government work, right? All right. So that's set. Let's get our Let's continue startup. So we got, go to number 4, boost pumps on, ignition to both. Mixture full rich. Also, just to let you know, guys, that if
9, 12.
there's some storms going through, so if my power goes out and the stream dies, you guys know what happened. I didn't just abandon the stream. Of course, I missed it. Let's start 2. Come back to that one. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Here, 'cause I
All aircraft be advised, information Juliet now current. Altimeter 29er39er.
12.
All right. So good start on 2. Run it. Okay. Full rich.
Three, 6, 9, 12.
So what the flight engineer is doing there is he's counting the rotations of the blades. Because it takes 12 rotations for startup. Alright, so let's get our flight plan in. So our flight plan from Fairbanks to Ambler. So, there we're going to go to the Fairbanks VOR. Although we're probably going to get vectored past that. UTO. Oop. There we're going to Jagdi. And then Ambler. Keep forgetting to hit that. Alright. FM. Ambler. And we'll see what procedure we get when we get there. We might get the visual. Probably the visual for 1-9. Alright. GPS set. While we're finishing warming up, we could do the after start checks.
Selected boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Flame venting. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed. After start checks complete.
Alright, let's get our clearance. So I'm going to have the first officer do the talking. Because generally, pilot not flying is the one doing the talking.
Everts 36, request IFR clearance to Ambler Airport.
Everts 36, Fairbanks clearance, cleared to Ambler Airport. Radar vectors U2, then is filed. Maintain 4,000. Expect 12,000 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.3. Squawk Tree 704.
Cleared to Ambler Airport. Radar vectors U2, then as filed. Maintain 4,000. Expect 12,000 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.3. Squawk 3704. Everts 36.
Everts 36, read back correct. Contact ground 121.9er when ready for push or start.
Ground 121.9er when ready for pushback or engine start. Everts 36. Have a good evening.
Well, we kind of
Everts 36
skipped
at
ahead.
ramp 1. Request startup.
Everts Tree 6, startup approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Affirmative. Engine start approved. Everts 36. Everts 36 request taxi to the active.
Everts Tree 6, scenery at this airport contains unusable taxi path data. Runway 2 left, taxi at pilot's discretion.
Runway 2 left. Taxi my discretion. Everts 36.
Alright, so we got our taxi clearance. Which, you know, beyond ATC, sometimes, depending on if the airport doesn't have good stuff, it's not going to even register. So let's get heading down that way. Yeah, my allergies are acting up, so my voice is, you know, weird because of that. This plane's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. one of the first airliners in the sim. Well, aftermarket airliners. I actually can't wait for PMDG to release their 777. Looking forward to that. Big 777 fan. Although I don't know if I'll be streaming any kind of long hauls, but I do like stretching the legs there. But we'll definitely do, we'll do some work with the 777 when it comes out. Alright, so let's run a before takeoff checklist. Get that started.
Most parts on low. Fuel selector and crossfeed. Main tanks and crossfeed off. Autopilot and carb heat. Off and cold. Hydraulic system. Down, forward, pressure and quantity checked. Okay. Flaps 20. Flaps set 20. Windows and turbine. Closed and on. Controls. Gust lock released. Free. Detonator. On. Mixture and cowl flaps. Reach unlocked. Set. Transponder. On. Landing lights. Extended and on. Before takeoff checks complete.
I haven't had too much luck with this airplane in live streaming. Anyone remembers my Mount McKinley Denali run? We ended up crashing at Anchorage.
Everts 6, contact Fairbanks Tower 118.3.
But I have faith that we're going to
Contact
have a
Tower
good one this one.
118.3, Everts 6.
This is going to be the redemption live stream.
Everts 36 holding short. Runway 2 left.
Everts Tree 6, Fairbanks Tower, wind 025 at 7, fly heading 020, runway 2 left, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 020, runway 2 left, cleared for takeoff. Everts 36.
All right, we're clear for takeoff. Let's go. All right, all lined up. We do dry takeoff.
30 inches, stabilize.
Love that shake as the engines come to life.
30 inches, stabilized. Cal flaps. Cal flaps. Cal flaps set. Full power, please. Going full power.
Brakes released. And here we go.
Full power set. Auxiliary, gear up. Gear selected up. Gear up, lights out, flaps up. Flaps going up. Meter power. Setting meter power, 48 inches, 2600 RPM.
Hey, one last thing's in the
Everts
house.
Transponder, Squawk Tree 704.
3704 in the box. Everts 36.
Get our autopilot on.
Meter power set. Climb power. Setting climb power.
What was our squawk? 3704.
Everts Tree 6, contact Eielson range departure.
Contact Eielson range departure. Everts 36.
Power set. After takeoff checklist, please.
Eielson range, Everts 36 3000.
Everts Tree 6, Ailson range departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 1010,000, altimeter 29er tree 9er.
Climb and maintain 1010,000, altimeter 29er 39er, Everts 36.
Everts Tree 6, turn left heading 275. Expect further clearance in about 47 miles.
Turn left, heading 275, Everts 36.
So left 275. Yeah, made it just in time for takeoff. This one is a lot better than the last one we streamed. I ended up in the pine trees. The DC-6 has not been It's not been kind to me on live streams. So we just took off of Fairbanks, Alaska, with a load of about 2,000 gallons of fuel oil to deliver to Ambler, a Arctic Buroughs village. On the west side of Alaska. Yep, went too far. Slide back over. So I'm using the autopilot here, so this is just a turn bank dial. So this doesn't have a fancy autopilot system in it that automatically captures the heading set in there, so you have to kind of steer it that way.
Contact Anchorage Center 120.9er, Everts 36. Anchorage Center, Everts 36, crossing 7,300 for 1010,000.
Everts 36, Anchorage Center, climb and maintain 12,000.
Climb and maintain 12,000, Everts 36.
There we go. And then this autopilot, which is actually a mechanical computer built in 1956, will attempt to hold the direction we set. So it doesn't know it's heading 275. It just knows that we stopped at this point in the dial. Where more modern autopilots, they know where the plane is, interlock with GPS, and the plane actually knows it's going 275. Where this plane, we just need to point it where we want it to go. So up above the Brooks Range, where Denali and all those mountains are, the land is kind of flat, so it doesn't offer too much scenery. So we'll get some patches of scenery mixed in with some fluffy clouds, which is kind of realistic. So there's 10,000. We're climbing up to 12,000. So November 444 Charlie Echo is an actual active flying DC-6 with Everts Air Fuel. As a matter of fact, I checked FlightAware, and it landed in Fairbanks just a couple days ago. So we are, instead of flying a former Everts Air DC-6, I got the livery for an active one. And the flight we're doing, I got a little high. So the flight we're doing is actually something similar to what Everts Air actually does. They deliver fuel oil. Well, the Air Fuel division delivers fuel to the outer territory villages and all over Alaska. But if you look online, the cargo hold actually has these, fuel tanks in them. And it's pretty cool how they load and offload the fuel from the DC, from the cargo hold in DC-6. It will clear up as we get closer to Ambler. So this flight's going to be about an hour. Such a cool plane. So the current operating one's a little more beat up. The graphics a little faded up front here. Paint's chipped on it. Costs a lot of money to paint a plane, so this is still functioning. They just kind of let it go. All right, we're established cruise, so we're on the cruise checklist.
Setting cruise power.
Everts Tree 6, contact Anchorage Center 133.1.
Contact Anchorage Center 133.1, Everts 36. Have a good evening. Anchorage Center, Everts 36, 12,000.
Everts Tree 6, Anchorage Center, roger.
Cruise power is set.
A little bumpy up here.
Cruise checks are complete.
See, the outside air temperature is below 10. Just make sure I got we're running the clouds here, so I'm going to put the prop ice on. Keep us from icing up. Ice is bad.
Everts Tree 6, turn right, heading 310, vectors for Ambler Airport.
Turn right, heading 310, Everts 36.
So I engage the GPS, since that's the track anyway. Well, close to it, 310, about 300. Oh. Me, guys, or I just see a flash of lightning? No wonder we're getting kind of tossed around.
Everts Tree 6, cleared direct U2, resume on navigation.
Cleared direct U2. Resume on navigation. Everts 3-6.
All right, so I hope no one gets airsick, because it's going to be a little bumpy. Got some storms off to the south of us, and it's really kicked up the air. So Ambler Village, where we're going to, is like I said, is an Arctic Burough's Northwest village. And it has dirt runways. With something a little different, so we're not going to be landing on pavement. Another thing is it only has a 4,000 foot runway. The minimum required runway for this aircraft to land is 3,800 feet, so we're right down to the edge, which will make it interesting. Now it looks like we've cleared up, except some more thunderstorms out here. There's no instrument landing approach at Ambler, so I'm hoping that it clears up so we could do a visual. Or it's going to be definitely interesting. So also, the village is so small; it only has 258 people. It's got 5. From what I read, it's got 5 persons that have commercial fishing licenses. The rest of the money is subsidized and through mining. That's why we're actually going out there to supply fuel oil to the mining company that contracted us. So Everts Air Fuel, Everts Air Cargo, there's the only United States airline still running the old DC-6s. They keep them running via, they have some salvage planes that they take parts from. There's companies out there that make some aftermarket parts, and they just keep them flying. The big difference I would see between a jet type cargo plane using Jet A versus avgas, for one, we use a lot of avgas. So you think about like the little private plane, or even the Beach Duke that I fly. on the channel. You know, we run maybe 800 pounds of fuel max. This plane we just put on 9,200 pounds of fuel, and we'll use almost 3/4 of that flying over to Ambler. The tanks actually hold, all the tanks actually hold a maximum amount of 33,000 pounds of aviation gasoline. It's like 15 tons of fuel. And with a light load, could act, full fuel, this plane could actually fly 4,000 miles. So it was when it was in its heyday as an airliner, it would definitely be common to see them flying across the Atlantic Ocean. It would take roughly 7 hours, maybe 8 hours to cross the ocean. New York to London. But the cargo versions, I can do 2,900 miles, almost 3,000 miles. Probably could stretch it to 3,000 miles. So if I went from Boston to London, I could take some cargo that way. So outside air temperature, it's pretty cold out. But it is Alaska, so I mean, when I was in Alaska, I'm just checking for icing. So when I was in Alaska in August, I actually still saw some snow in areas. So I love Alaska. We were flying further north, and at night we could possibly see the Aurora Borealis, which actually is simulated in here. If the conditions are right. I've actually never seen it, so in real life or the sim. If you go on YouTube, there's a lot, and you're interested in the DC-6, there's a lot of really cool videos of Everts Air operating the DC-6 into some of these villages. Landing and taking off on dirt strips. It's really cool. So this plane is actually, and it is in real life, a converted airliner. So when this plane was built, it was an airliner. So that's why you can see the windows they've covered over. That's cool. Quite a few of the cargo versions of this plane are converted over from airliners, since they no longer need them as airliners, because, you know, who's going to want to sit for hours in a plane like this? Although the airliners back in the day were a lot more luxurious. Compared to nowadays, because they didn't, air travel was a novelty, so they didn't have the passengers, so they could spread the seats out. So if you've ever flown first class on a jetliner, imagine every seat in economy on this plane would be like a first class type seat with that, you know, wide comfortable seat, a lot of leg room. And imagine first class on a plane like this, or like almost like lounge furniture, you know, tables, and yeah, it was crazy. It's another thing too, the flight attendants, or stewards as they were called back in the day, would actually cook the food. There were little mini ovens on board instead of reheaters. Like, you know, airplane food nowadays is just, it's all prepared off the plane, and the flight attendants just reheat them. But on this plane, they actually would put the food in an oven and actually cook it. And they would prepare, you know, meals for the passengers. Like real meals, you know, served on china, forks, glassware. You know, you ordered a scotch, you got it in a glass tumbler with real ice, not toilet water ice. Of course, I don't know how true it is, although I've heard real airline pilots say not to get anything water related on a plane, that the holding tanks for the water aren't exactly the best. That includes coffee. They say don't ever get airplane coffee. So if the pilots don't ever want to drink the coffee on their planes, I'm going to go with that. If you can get water on a plane, make sure it's bottled water. It doesn't really come from the toilet. That's the old joke. So this airport we're going to, there's not much to it, since it's furnished for, you know, literally just goods and services and transport to get into the place. There's no terminal. It's not a very fancy airport. Like I said, it's mostly dirt. It services the mining companies, so there's like one building and a lot of different fuel holding tanks and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. It's also not something that we're used to landing in on this channel, so it's a new venture for us, and that's why I call this the Adventure Series. So. Speaking of Adventure Series, I started a around the world tour for Virtual Flight Diaries. So I don't think I'm going to be vlogging a lot of the legs on this tour. One, they're long. Some of the legs are long, and I have to really stretch the fuel on the Duke, piston Duke, to get there. So it's going to be like 5.5 hours, some of the leg, real time. So those are the ones I'm not going to do. So some of the interesting ones I'm probably going to leave for live streaming. I might do some video logs of some flights. But instead of just planning to go like straight, let's get around the world, we're going to do a world tour. So I picked some different airports, different sightseeing kind of things. One of them being that I picked, we're going to be landing in Paris, but I didn't pick, the fancy Charles de Gaulle airport, and I picked Le Bourget. And the reason I did that was to commemorate, since we've crossed the Atlantic, that's the airport that Charles Lindbergh landed at when he crossed the Atlantic. So I thought I would do a tribute by landing at that airport. We're going to go down in through Africa via Morocco. We're going to go to, we're going to fly over Victoria Falls in Africa, which is apparently a very incredible sight to see, Victoria Falls. Then we're going to go down through Africa and cross over from Africa over to Australia, landing on some outskirt, like some islands in the Indian Ocean for fuel stops. Hello, welcome to the channel. Well, that's cool. Welcome to the channel. We're flying the DC-6 in Alaska from Fairbanks to a outer Arctic village called Ambler. We're simulating a air fuel delivery with Everts Air Cargo. So, yeah, so welcome. That's awesome. Boeing 737-800 Korean Air. Yeah, I love the PMG 737-800. That's what I fly in the flight simulator. The 800 and 900 series are one of my favorites. No, this is a DC-6, Douglas DC-6 by PMDG. Hello, Green YT. Welcome to the channel. We're flying the Douglas DC-6 in Alaska. That's awesome. Green UIT. So you're from Anchorage, Alaska. So we took off from Fairbanks and we're flying to Ambler with Everts Air Fuel DC-6. I've actually been to Anchorage in real life. We stopped there on our way to Seward.
Contact Anchorage Center 124.6, Everts 36. Anchorage Center, Everts 36, 12,000.
Everts 36, Anchorage Center, roger.
Well, so Green YT said, first time I ever seen an Alaska livery streamed in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You know, I actually haven't seen one either. I've done 2 streams so far with the DC-6 in the Everts livery. I have one other live stream where we toured Denali, but we didn't have any luck with that one because I ended up crashing at Anchorage International Airport. But we're gonna have a better stream this time around. Excuse me if it's a thing, Mike. Because of my allergies, I've been kind of sucking on a lozenge, so hopefully that's not too disturbing for everybody. Except Aaron, laughing. I'm load up the sim and see if I can get to you. I'm not flying online, but you can certainly see. I don't know. I've never actually used Microsoft Flight Simulator's multiplayer thing. Usually I'm on VATSIM, but I'm not tonight. I'm actually flying offline. No, this is not a jet engine. These are actually gasoline powered radial engines. I believe they're 2800 series Pratt & Whitney. Now this is a propeller plane. No, this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Out of all the flight simulators out there, I've actually never used X-Plane before. Green, white, tea. Yes. Sorry. I'm probably going to do at a later date. I'm probably going to end up doing like a multiplayer fly-in. I don't probably see. I'm not too familiar with Xbox version of Microsoft Flight Simulator because I'm on PC. So I unfortunately, I can't help you with that one. I don't know if it's anything close to the PC version. There would be a multiplayer option in the loading screen. We're flying to a Arctic Burough territory called Ambler. It's a small village with a dirt airstrip. Similar to, I don't know if Everts Airlines actually flies to Ambler, but it's a similar type of airport that Everts does fly to. They do service delivering fuel, oil, and fuel to the outer villages in Alaska. So we're going to Ambler. So Ambler is a population of 258 people. And they have a group of mining companies that operate out of there too. So that would be the reason. Please turn off one engine. I'd have to ask why would you like me to turn off one engine? I mean, the plane could fly with 3 engines, but a lot lower and slower. And these old engines, I'm not entirely sure I'd get it started again. Oh, okay. I'm talking through Google Translator now. Oh, okay. Why would you like me to turn off one engine? So I'm in Brisbane, Australia in the simulator. Australia is actually one of the areas I haven't flown yet. And my planned world tour that I'm doing with the channel, I'm going to be going through Australia and New Zealand as part of my routes. Because I've never been there and I would actually love to fly through there. There's some really cool sceneries available for Australia that I'd like to try out. No, not easily. I can't change it to the Boeing 737. Unlike earlier simulators where you could just switch the planes, and I think even Xbox you can just switch the planes. Microsoft Flight Simulator, I have to leave the program, change the plane, and then come back in, and I wouldn't be able to come back in right where I'm at. I'd have to start over. It's just not set up like that. Oh, no worries. No worries. I'll actually be doing probably a Boeing 737 live stream in the next coming weeks. If PMDG doesn't launch the 777, because we all want to fly that. Green White Tea, I'm going to speak some Russian now. So, I don't speak Russian. So, what'd you say? What's your idea, Green White Tea? Oh, you've got no idea. I didn't read that right. I've got no idea what you said. Oh. So what? So that's Korean. I don't speak Korean either, unfortunately. I wish I was multilingual. I could say my name in Polish. That's about it. No, it's not appearing in English. It's actually appearing in Korean characters. Thank you. I try to be. This is probably one of the best streams I've had yet. All right, so I'm actually on an autopilot. It does have an autopilot. It has an old school autopilot.
Contact Anchorage Center 127.0, Everts 36.
So this autopilot is right here.
Anchorage Center Everts 36. Good
And
evening,
it was
12100.
the real autopilot was built in 1958. And it is a mechanical computer that runs the plane using a gyroscope. So it's old technology. But we're able to follow a GPS track, which I believe the real plane can do, and it can hold an altitude. And it can even do a coupled ILS approach, although it's not perfect. But I'm hands off right now. And we got some outer lying storms in the area, so we're we're getting bounced around a little bit, so that's why you see the controls trying to keep us on track. It's very turbulent. So got about another maybe 30 minutes till we land. We're actually going to be coming up on our descent point very shortly. So this plane needs a lot of distance to slow down. So your descent planning is, you want to plan that you're at your approach altitude about 20 miles from the airport. So I've already calculated that, and have my descent point already plotted out. And it's actually just a lat and longitude on my chart plotter. So it is 9:16 p.m. where I'm at. It is 5 hours time difference in Alaska. So I want to say no, maybe it's 4 hours time difference in Alaska. So 5? Is that right? Yeah, 5:15. Yeah, 4 hours time difference. I had to think about that one a little bit. And I'm on the east coast of the United States, so it's almost 10 o'clock at night here. But I'm also not flying real time because I didn't want to do any kind of night stuff. Although it would have been a cool sunset type thing. So I got 2 in the afternoon in the sim. Mostly because when I loaded into the sim in real time, there was thunderstorms at Fairbanks, and I thought that wouldn't have been a very fun stream, so I dialed it back a couple hours. Sure. So we took off from Fairbanks, and I'm flying over the Arctic Burough territory of Alaska. So Northwest Alaska.
Everts Tree 6, turn left heading 275. Descend and maintain 1010,000, altimeter 2957. Ambler Airport landing runway 19er.
Turn left, heading 275. Descend and maintain 1010,000, altimeter 2957. Ambler Airport landing runway 19er, Everts 36.
How much money is the Boeing 737? I think it was like $39 for the 737-800. They sold each. So PMDG sold each one separate. The 600, 700, and 800, 900 were all separate purchases. Okay, well, hopefully we'll still be here. Enjoy your lunch. Very finicky autopilot. Try to get a descent profile. I bought the 737s a while ago. Let me see here. I do know they're on the marketplace. Okay. Oh, wow. So I was wrong. So the 737-800 is $69.99. You can get the 737-600 for $34.99. But all the rest of them, so if you want the 700 series, it's $69.99, 800 $69, and then the 900 is $49.99. That's an odd pricing profile. So they're probably the same price on there. Oh, cool. Okay. Still here. I'm gonna check out the landing on the dirt runway. Yeah. So you probably Alaska probably would be a good, like, just get the 737-800. I think Alaska Airlines flies that. I think the 800 and 900. Yes, and the Max 8, but they don't have a good Max in the sim right now. The one that's out there is kind of.
Everts Tree 6, descend and maintain 4,000 vectors for the approach.
Descend and maintain 4,000 Everts 36.
So 275. Yeah, we're close. So let's make some adjustments. It'd be cool if a developer would make a good study level max. Because I think the 737 Max is a really cool plane, and I'd love to be able to fly it in the sim. But there's a lot of cool ones coming out. Not soon, unfortunately. Bluebird Simulations is coming out with a 757. That'll be a cool one to have. Especially for like some cargo ops. I hope to butter the landing. I'll be hand flying the approach.
Everts 36, turn right, heading 285.
Turn right, heading 285, Everts 36.
Everts 36, contact Anchorage Center 119.2. Have a good evening.
Contact Anchorage Center 119.2, Everts 36. Anchorage Center, Everts 36, 6100.
Everts 36, Anchorage Center, roger.
Alright, so I'm going to start setting up for our approach. We're still about 30 miles out. So Ambler, Alaska is along the what's the name of the river?
Altimeter 2957, expect the visual approach runway 19er.
Altimeter 2957, expect the visual approach runway 19er, Everts 36.
I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it's along the Kabuk River. Kabuk. I'm never good with pronunciations. All right, so not quite there yet to slow down. I'm going to wait until I get to my level off altitude, and then we'll run the in-range checklist, which should start us slowing down. Because this thing moves like a freight train. It takes a while to slow down. one cool thing about the DC-6 is that it was one of the first planes to actually offer the ability to reverse pitch on the props. So it actually has reverse thrust, which is going to make coming into this 4,000 foot runway a little bit easier. So I have the Orbix mesh scenery for Alaska. Makes it a little prettier. Because unfortunately in Microsoft Flight Simulator, Alaska was somewhat neglected. Apparently Bing Maps doesn't have a very good layout of the Alaska landscape. Yeah, a lot of the airports weren't modeled. Most of the airports that I have in the sim for Alaska are all aftermarket developers. A lot of them I got off of Flight Sim TO. Unfortunately, Xbox, you wouldn't be able to use Flight Sim TO. I think Xbox is only beholden to marketplace items. There's a couple airports actually available in the marketplace for Alaska. Fairbanks, Anchorage, a couple of these village airports are in there. Unaclete. So the airport should be up over here somewhere, if my map's correct. About 16 miles that way.
Everts Tree 6, turn right, heading 315.
Turn right, heading 315, Everts 36.
That one I'm not sure. Does if it has the Alaska livery, especially with the Xbox. I know you can
340, Everts 36.
you can get it on PC. Hey, welcome back. So we're starting to set up for our landing. Let's see here. So just want to see for if I can access PMDGs without canceling out of the screen. Does 737 have an Alaska? Doesn't look like it. Green white team.
Cooling turbine. Normal. Fuel booster pumps.
I'm going to run the in-range checklist. The first officer and the flight engineer will run through that checklist.
Mains on, crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass belt. Down.
Everts Tree 6, turn right heading Tree 55.
On.
Turn right, heading 355 Everts 36.
Complete.
I'm also using the new Beyond ATC. That's the air traffic control is. Yes, we're setting up for our approach. ATC, or air traffic control, is vectoring us in. The airport actually should be right off our nose. That's it right there. Go 10 degrees of flaps. That'll help us start slowing down. here's where the fun begins. We're going to try to get in on that little runway. If it's a good one, I have no problem with you uploading the landing. All right, so
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20. Flaps set. Mixtures rich, please. Auto rich. Mixtures set. Gear up and down, please. Gear up and down.
all right, landing gear come down.
Gear down and locked. 3 rings. Props. 2400 RPM. 2400 RPM set. Cal flaps. +3 degrees. Cal flaps set. ADI. ADI off. ADI is off. Landing lights. Speed good. Extending lights.
All right, so turn the flight recorder on for a landing replay. My controls.
Lights extended and on. Norby. Carbine cold. Set cold. Before landing checks complete.
Flaps 30. Flaps 40. Flaps full. And welcome to Ambler. I did a full reverse thrust there. So we landed in about 1,500 feet, but we're pretty light, so.
After landing checks complete.
That parking brake. And we have, that was. The keybind isn't working. Okay. Stop the recording. We have to take a look at that landing. That landing was, that was butter. All right. Thank you. I'm actually very happy with that landing. It was what did it show? 90 feet per minute? Of course, active sky would have to put some clouds in the way. Starts to kind of active sky next for PC kind of starts to glitch when you do replays. I hate that. So yeah, that I tell you what, I have it on replay. We can get it again. You get that your screen recording running. Because I don't know about you, but I don't mind watching that. That landing was beautiful. Can you get it working again? Oh no. I'll post a clip of the landing on my Discord. If you want to join my Discord channel, you can grab it from there if you want. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do multiplayer tonight because after the stream, I have to take care of my dogs. And I have to go to bed, so I definitely would love to do a multiplayer sometime in the future. Apparently the replay has recorded that that connection loss there. Alright. Yes, I have 2 dogs. I don't have any on my computer. If you have an email, on your channel, I can send them to you. See, as soon as I shut replay off, it got all nice out. So guys, Thanks again for the awesome stream. One of my better ones. I enjoyed flying with you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the flight as well. And hit the like button if you haven't done so far, and on to the next one. Green YT, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. That really does help out the channel. I thank you guys. It's been a wonderful stream. Till next time, clear skies, smooth landings. You guys have been great.